Once upon a time, there lived many birds in a huge tree. They were having trouble finding food. So one day, the chief of the birds decided to take a long flight with his fellow birds. The chief bird gathered its fellow birds and spoke solemnly.
Friends, here we are facing a shortage of food. We are not alone in this struggle. Our young ones are also hungry. I believe it's time for us to fly to a better place, where food is more plentiful and accessible.
When the birds heard that the chief had decided to fly to a new place for food, they were very sad. They had lived here for a long time, and leaving this place was hard. But they knew they had no choice, because staying meant they would starve and die. The next morning, as the sun came up, the birds gathered and got ready to fly. When the chief gave the signal, they took off. Following the chief and his minister, they flew in the direction they were told to go. They hoped to find plenty of food and avoid hunger. After flying for a long time, they all got tired and decided to rest on the branch of a tree. After a short while, the chief said,
"Now go and arrange food for everyone."
All the birds set out in different directions. One small bird reached a highway. He saw food-laden bullock carts going on the highway. One sack in one of the bullock carts had a hole. Food grains were falling from the hole onto the road. The cart rider was unaware of this. The bird thought,
"There is lots of food. It can serve all the birds. I should immediately go and inform the chief."
Then, suddenly, another thought struck him. He muttered to himself,
"If I tell the chief, I will have to share the food with everyone. I will be left with only a small portion."
However, the bird went to the chief and narrated the entire incident about the food grains and the bullock carts. Then he said,
"Oh, Chief, the highway is always full of heavy traffic. Hence, picking up food from the road is very dangerous. I suggest that no one should pick the grains from the highway."
Agreeing with the bird, the chief said to his minister,
"Dear Do not let anyone go towards the highway.
Then, addressing the fellow birds, he said,
Did you see the concern the little bird has for all of us? And also how intelligent he is.
The small bird was extremely happy to hear praise from the chief, especially in front of his fellow mates. He thought,
Now, nobody will go toward the highway. I can collect all the food for myself.
every day the bird used to go to the highway, collect food, and return. He was extremely happy with the intelligence he had shown. One day, the small bird was picking at grains on the highway. Suddenly, he heard a sound. He turned around and saw a bullock cart fast approaching. He thought,
The cart still has some distance to cover. I will gather more food and fly away. When the cart comes a little closer,
poor bird. It couldn't estimate the speed of the bullock cart. Consequently, it came under the cart and died. The fellow birds and the chief were worried when the bird did not return even after dusk. They searched for him everywhere, but he was not to be found anywhere. Finally, when they reached the main highway, they found him there, lying dead. The chief then sadly said,
Poor little bird. In spite of knowing the danger, he came to the highway to have food, but met an untimely death. It's all because of his greed.
Moral: greed leads to disaster.